Hi and welcome to Top Dice. I'm Aid, and I've got Chris with me, usual co-host, and we've got Steve.
How you doing? All right.
You're right, Steve. So your first time with us today. Now, for anyone watching, Steve is one of the Facebook group members that's kindly joined us today for a bit of a chat about role-playing games. And don't forget to click subscribe where you want to try and grow the channel. So you click subscribe, like, and please comment as well. Tell us what you like about this particular show. Right, Steve, tell us a bit about yourself. Been gaming long?
Yeah, I've been gaming sort of like since about 15 years old, properly. Just like, bouncing around different groups and clubs around the West Midlands and Staffordshire area.
Yeah.
Had a bit of a break while I was married. Once I got divorced, I met up with my old gaming buddies again and just kept going from there, really. I played a whole house of different games. I've GM'd a whole house of games, and I happened to find your cracking Facebook group, and then I thought, right, okay, let's get on board with this then.
Yeah, well, welcome aboard. Right, well, we'd be very remiss of us, Chris, to ask the question, wouldn't it, if we didn't ask this one? Top three role-playing games.
Oh, top three.
Yeah.
Okay. WFRP's got to be in there. And I'm not gonna say sort of like I'm gonna say second and fourth edition because I can run both.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Slay Industries. Slay Industries is one of my favourites. And then the next one, which I played a lot when I was younger, so it's very, very nostalgic, is the West End game Star Wars.
Right, good selection of games there. I'm a big fan of Warhammer, Fantasy Roleplay, and obviously Star Wars. That was a huge one for me. I've got a few tales about that for the future, but that's not for tonight. Favorite genre?
Favorite genre, definitely fantasy.
Okie dokie.
Grim and perilous fantasy.
Grim and perilous fantasy.
Yeah.
Is that to run and play, or is that different for you?
Say that again, sorry.
Your favourite genre, is that to run and play, or
yeah, run and play, yeah, both, yeah, definitely.
And do you prefer to be the GM or a player?
I'm going to go on the fence and say 50-50. I like to play and I like to GM, so yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, no wrong answers here at all in any way, shape, or form.
Preferences, marvellous.
Right, well,
what game got you started?
Dungeons and Dragons got me started, really. Yeah, when we there was a club in Hensford. It was called that was called Snake Eyes. The reason why it was called Snake Eyes, I believe, is they used to play a lot of BattleTech, and the Snake Eyes was the particular group's clan. So the entire club was called Snake Eyes, and there was a lot of AD&D played there. But then we discovered other stuff. As I said, Cyberpunk, Shadowrun was run there, Cyberspace was played there, and then there was a few guys bought the a bit later on, bought the World of Darkness stuff in, so Vampire, Werewolf, Mage. So but there was wargaming as well that went on. So a few of the guys used to bring their armies. I mean, they'd got 2 or 3, so they'd bring 2 armies and just say anybody want to play. So you'd some weeks you if there was no role playing, you'd have a go at probably second edition Warhammer Fantasy Battles. So yeah, it was a good all round club, that was, and it was a shame the caretaker retired, and we couldn't get access to the room. So
yeah, Chris, you're a big fan of Warhammer Fantasy Battle, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I didn't play it much, but I remember sort of like ranks of troops and things like that. I always dreamt of having a big, massive orc army. It's just never got around to it. Just too expensive. But yeah, it was always fun. What was I going to ask you? Have you got any particular favourite characters that stand out?
I enjoyed playing. I had an elf cleric of Olodorama, so he was actually like the cleric of thieves in a 1.3.5 game, and I played that to death, like, you know, and but it was just a shame that the games master wanted to change the game, like he'd only written so much. I
Yeah,
love that character to death, like, and played it to its hilt, like, you know, proper like role played that character, and then he changed genre. He wanted to go Pathfinder, and he completely changed the game, like, which was a bit of a shame, really.
Yeah, it would do
Um,
that. Yeah.
yeah. Sort of like another favourite character from years ago. I had a Wookiee Scout from West End Games Star Wars.
cool.
It wasn't very hard to play. I just used to scream lots like a Wookiee. So, yeah. And what else is there? But I also had a human in Slay Industries as well. I really enjoyed playing him as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, that's another of Chris's favourites, Slay
Yeah,
Industries.
love
So.
that. Love the setting. It's amazing.
Oh, it's
Right.
just brilliant. Yeah. But yeah, it was just the first edition, the rule set was very, very clunky. But
Yeah.
just the story, just to sit there and read the story, it was just like
Yeah.
oh,
Background.
Yeah.
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 I have got second edition, and I have to say the rule set, the rule set's a lot easier to follow. Whether it comes to the table one day, I don't know. But I mean, I've got first and second edition, and it just sits on my shelf for nostalgic purposes. It'll stay there, you know. So
Yeah. Well, talking about Slay Industries and sci-fi games, Chris, I believe we're going to do your top 6
Yes.
sci-fi games.
Um.
Let's put you in the spotlight. There you go. We've
Whoa! No pressure, guys. Right. I put this in order.
order, right? Order.
From 6, or it'll be 6 to 1. So let's start with 6. Ready?
Yep. Go on. What you got? Show it.
Alien.
Alien. Okay.
6. So what the hell's the rest?
Yeah, that's got me guessing there. So Alien, Free League.
Free League, yeah, love the system. D6 dice pool with an amazing stress mechanic. You really do feel like you're playing the film, and that's any of them. You know, no matter which films you like, no matter sort of what style of sort of game of Alien you go after. It's bloody Alien. It's amazing. So number 5.
Yep.
Judge Dredd.
Can't beat it. Yep.
Absolutely.
I'm surprised that's coming at number 5. Actually, I thought it might have been a bit higher up.
It's at number 5. I know, shocking. Percentile system, just
The
black and white.
sense of humor in that game is just absolutely amazing.
Sort of being a judge, dispensing justice. You know, once you've got your perp, you've got to sort of like, work out how long they're going to sort of go down for, or are you going to sentence them to death? As the comic progressed, death sentences became more sort of
they frowned on them a bit, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think somebody blew the nose in the second it's the second 2000 AD, and he got executed, didn't he? Anyway,
basically. So yeah, of all the Judge Dredd role playing games, this one I will go back to this time after time.
100% on that. Any experience of that one at all, Steve?
I haven't now, unfortunately. No, it's a game I always wanted to play, like, but I've never got around to it, and I don't think in my area, I don't think there's anybody who's a games master at it. So it's a shame, really, because I mean, like,
not an easy one to find these days, to be quite
No.
blunt. Games Workshop at its peak, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, we could sort out an online game and dispense some justice. So that's an idea.
Yeah, I recognise that book, by the way.
You might do.
Yeah, you got it from me.
Yes, yes, that is right.
Was it bought or stolen?
A bit of both. A bit so moving
Right.
on.
4.
So what are we on? 4?
4th.
Yes, 1-4.
4. This will be a shocker, I guarantee it. Mutant Chronicles, number 4.
Oh,
Love it.
yes.
Yes, there you go. That's first edition. It's glorious. It's black and white, but
don't forget the but.
It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, isn't it?
And you've got the colour pages in there as well in that particular version as well. You've got some very nice colour.
Very nice.
Colour spot pieces.
I've got the like the colour plates, very much like the early editions of Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah,
that kind of feel, just random character generation, evil, nasty monsters, weird goings on, just amazing kind of weird, messed up stuff. The most 40k role-playing game without being 40k that there ever was.
Yeah.
I remember playing it thinking, oh my God, I wish they'd do a 40k role-playing game. And then they did. So for a while, we kind of pretended it was 40k. It was brilliant.
Easily done.
So that's number 4.
Number 4, yeah. 4.
Right.
Number 3, what we got at number 3?
3. Obsidian, Age of Judgment.
Interesting
right.
choice.
One of my favourite sci-fi / horror games ever. And it was difficult to put this in the position it's in. The background and the world setup, controversial to say the least. And then the fact that you play, one of the choices, you play cultists, linked to sort of one of the circles of hell or heaven, things like that. The fact that you actively take human lives to power your abilities, very controversial. It sort of
I remember it well, yeah.
I mean, this caused, I think, more outcry than World of Darkness ever did. Partly because the blasphemy that's attached to the background around sort of biblical characters such as Jesus, things like that, and sort of changing his background and what he was to fit the setting. That aside, amazing character choices. You could be, like I said, cultists, and some were actually classed as good guys, which was crazy. Turned everything on its head. There was sort of corporate, I think mystics. There was something else. I haven't read this in ages. All the other supplements. You could go outside into the wasteland. It was very sort of Fallout before Fallout became a big thing. And then you had its sister game, which was what was going on in Europe. Amazing. It just, again, it's a shame it's not in print. Most of mine aren't, but I like old games. So yeah, there you go. Obsidian.
I can't see that coming back into print actually, which again, so that's probably a bit of a relic you've got there. No pun intended.
It would be great if it did, but one of those things. But again, running on, it's like that. Okay, so number 2, we have two books for number 2, Slay Industries.
Yes.
Okay, I love the first edition. I love it that much. I told the creators of the game that I didn't like the new system and I thought it was awful, and I thought they should go back to the original. I did it in person at a games convention. Sorry, but you know, I like what I like. But I own this. I've yet to try it out, this edition. I played this edition to death. I love it. The whole sort of Thatcherism-esque sort of messed up media circus that the setting is. It's unique in its sort of approach to sort of celebrity and
it was ahead of its time, really, wasn't it? It basically,
yeah,
it was TikTok, the computer game, based on a role play, well, brought into a role playing game, and it was all about media advertising, social media, and that was before social media really
I mean,
existed.
You know, the guys up in Scotland really hit you know, they struck the, you know, a vein with this one, because it had its moments. We all thought it was going to die and go away forever, and then it came back to life. It was really good to sort of be able to kickstart I forget what the book was called. It was amazing to get it back. We got a hardback edition. We all remember first edition, those of us that owned it, the spine came off and it got destroyed.
Yeah. I had that version, yeah, the old softback.
Yeah, I think I've got that version.
Original, that's my original spine of the book there with the picture. My favourite picture are the drug nuns in it. That's where my spine is, because it came off. So that's where that is. So that's 2. Love that setting. It's amazing.
Brilliant. Just unreal, unbelievable setting.
I would play that over lots of stuff again and again. So number 1. Everyone's probably wondering what it is.
I've got a good idea. Go on.
You know what it is. Estate.
Right.
And
okay.
Yeah.
Version. Gorgeous. So shiny. It's lovely. Lovely. Dead thick as well compared to the other.
Yeah, UV spot on the new one, isn't it? It's they've really gone to town on it. I'd even go so far as to say they've taken a leaf out of the Dungeons and Dragons Wizards of the Coast books with that one.
The colour, it's full colour. It's full. It's just. It's got. It incorporates sort of like real world advertisements. Fully immersive pictures, like the architecture, the people, how they dress. It's all completely different to sort of us. I mean, the first edition was the same.
Yeah,
it became a complete. I got lost in it. It's a completely unique world. Oh, which I prefer over Slay Industries, weirdly.
Yeah, it's. Have you come across Estate at all, Steve?
I haven't now, actually. I've seen it. I've seen it about. I've seen the book about, and I've seen you know, I've seen people selling it on eBay and you know, and obviously marketplace and stuff. But I've never ever had any experience with it.
It's another UK game.
Right,
it's that one indie game.
Yeah,
and quite a powerhouse back in the day.
It's another Scottish game, actually.
Yeah.
To be absolutely honest with you, from the mind of Malcolm Craig, who's I believe he's now a professor in, I think, Hope University down the road from me.
Yeah, Liverpool.
Oh, I think Rocky agreed with me there.
Yeah.
Basically, you're locked in a city. Imagine a big sort of, let me think, large sort of circular city with canal systems, which sort of crisscross. The roads cross the canals, and the canals sort of go around in a circle. How to describe that, a diagram? And you've got huge mixtures in sort of background. You've got the absolute have-nots, like the homeless. Then you've got people who just, you know, they just about get by. They have a house, scrape by, and then you've got the rich. It's got all, you know, the whole sort of sections of society. It is science fiction in the way that the technology is more advanced than ours.
But it's very definitely, I would sort of say, potentially apocalyptic.
It is.
Sci-fi, yeah, that would be my take on it. It's not. It wasn't. I can't remember it expressly being sort of stated in there, but that was my.
Yeah. Well, basically, you can't leave. You can't leave the city. You know, the city boundaries. You can see past the boundaries, but you can't get to it. There's, I believe, a barrier. It's quite a. Again, it's quite a unique, different setting. Really, sort of spoke to me. Weirdly, at the time, I was living in the big city. I was living in Liverpool, big city, and then this. I remember early days of sort of, you know, the internet. I saw this during the 90s. Yeah, it's the 90s, I think, and it kind of like sort of spoke to me of sort of urban. It's like urban myths and weird sort of cities and what you'd find down like odd, dark, crooked alleyways, and who are the
just out of sight. What's just out of sight, out of normality?
True. And the artwork in first as well. It's all black and white, but the guy who and he did all the art in it. He does all the art in the other one, Paul. Amazing. Absolutely. Yeah. So number one, I'd play that all day long.
Okay, well, let's do reverse. So number one, we've got A State. Number two, we've got Slay Industries.
Yeah.
Number three, Obsidian. Number four, Mutant Chronicles, which again, absolute winner. Number five, Judge Dredd, again, absolute winner. And number six, lo and behold, Alien. So some very different sci-fi games there, and interestingly, a lot of the more traditional ones are missing. Your opinion on that, Steve? Oh, I know you. I know you own them, but again, this is a very personal top.
Yeah, I mean,
set of games from yourself.
Part of a lot of those games, apart from Alien.
Yeah.
Really, sort of part of partly to do with growing up and where I was sort of living and what was going on at the time, be it personally or sort of, dare I say it, politically, you know, had a big influence. Alien, I've just always liked Alien, but
yeah,
we've never had a game of it of any decency for that long. Otherwise, it would be higher in the list, weirdly.
Yeah.
But that's my top six.
Okay, well, there we go. In fact, what we'll do, Steve, going forward, we'll get your top six. Not now. No, don't go.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. In fact, I'll throw an option out to you. Do you want to do your top six all time? Show and tell of them. Do you want to do your top six fantasy?
Yeah, I'll have a think. I'll let you know. Definitely, I'll have a think. I'll let you know. Yeah, definitely.
And then I'll follow up with my top six sci-fi, which I think will be quite different. There might be a couple of those in there, you know, maybe different positions, but we'll certainly sort of see, and you'll get a more of an impression of my type of sci-fi games, what I like. Some of which I've not played for quite some time, but bring it on. I am going to be starting to do Mutant Chronicles again since getting the book redone. I've always loved that game. It's always been one of my favourites. That's going to be in my top six, very, very much so.
It's surprising it wasn't, to be fair.
Yeah, it's very, very high up the list. I'll have to wait and see how far up the list it actually sort of is. But because
Yeah.
I've got Siege of the Citadel, which was a board game that was kickstarted with all the miniatures in, it will be, when I run it, it'll be quite a visual on the table one. I am going to do an online one though as well. So, you know, there's a couple that come to mind. And the great thing I like about Mutant Chronicles is you can go and grab a copy of one of the 1990s Call of Cthulhu scenarios off the shelf, or even the 1920s one, and run that for it. And it's basically Call of Cthulhu with huge, great, big, bloody guns. So it's yeah, that's the way it can be done. Anyway, right. So begin to wrap things up for today. Steve, any words from yourself?
No, well, there's some interesting choices there. Some I've never sort of like delved into, but you know, probably willing to give them a go if ever anyone's prepared to run them or play them.
Well, before you go, just to blow your mind further, that's the sister game to Obsidian.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
That's Europe.
Yeah.
Right.
Obsidian Age of Judgment is America. That's what we're doing during this period.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, like the choice of Mutant Chronicles. I mean, especially the first edition book is. I mean, I have to agree with everything that Chris said. I mean, he'd had absolutely everything. He'd had the sci-fi feel of 40K.
Yeah.
There was horror in it. You know, cultists, and again, I mean, the storyline. I mean, yeah, completely different from Slay Industries, but it was that type of storyline. It was just like something completely different. You'd never, and the artwork. I mean, the artwork, and I have seen.
Oh yeah.
The artwork in some of even the source books. The artwork is just it's fabulous. It's unreal. Yeah.
I will give Modipus the due. First edition is my favourite, but for source material, Chris Birch and Modipus, they did an amazing job, absolutely amazing. And the great thing about it is, with only a little bit of work, you can port that straight over to first edition. Stats will need to be changed, obviously, but everything else, the storylines and everything, just fit in like a dream. And for the first time ever, they actually detailed Luna, which was I'd done myself, but it was nothing like. I actually used Night City from Cyberpunk as my Luna back in the day, just for ease. Because we knew there was a lake there, and it's right on the edge of the of a stretch of water is Night City. So yeah, that's actually sort of used, and I used some of the big tower blocks in Night City as being the capital. There you go, Cybertronic and Co. The headquarters of that. Yeah, the Revenge of the Klansman. That's
something that I never understood about this book. I just didn't know. I never knew what to do with it either. Was if you go all the way to the back of the book, there's a little sort of
you've got floor plans there to use.
Yeah.
Just it had everything. It was amazing.
I believe the plan originally was going to be to actually have in the back of the book some tear out card floor plans, 2 or 3 sheets of it, and never came off. Instead, they actually released a supplement in America called the Cathedral, and I think there was another one as well. And they ended up as part of that those box sets, which you didn't see over here at all. I had the Cathedral one, and there was another one. I can't remember the name of it. That's just great art, isn't it?
It is just unbelievable. Yeah, it really is.
And it's coming back.
It is. Yeah. Although I've scoured the internet.
Proceed.
Yeah.
Horrible things to face.
Yeah.
Things to use as a GM.
Yeah.
The players with those.
not as bad as an Isagul or something like that. But yeah, there's we should hopefully be seeing a Kickstarter for Mutant Chronicles, Lunar City Noir or something, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And it's just it's going to be a noir detective game, basically. That's all. They're not going to go into the rest of the background at this stage. Yeah, there you go. It's
just phenomenal. Just
Yeah.
absolutely
Not
phenomenal.
art either. That's a guy dressed up. That's amazing.
yeah. The art is absolutely brilliant with it. One of the original top games to come out of the Nordic area, basically. Gave you an indication of what was going to be coming, and then we ended up with Free League and others, obviously, but Free League is the one that comes to mind. That's so yeah, we're gonna have to get some more games in, I think, guys, whether together or separately, and start feeding back on how it's actually sort of going. Right, well, thanks everyone for sticking with us. As I mentioned at the start of this video, please click subscribe, click like, and we'll come back for another chat soon. And hopefully, Steve, you'll join us for more.
Absolutely, yeah. No worries, work permitting.
Excellent. Well, that's the way it works.
Absolutely.
Any last words from you, Chris?
Just again, like, subscribe, and let me know what you think about my six role-playing games.
There you go. All right.
I'm
Anything
curious-
from you? Yeah, go on, Steve. Anything from you finally?
Yep, same again. Yep, just click like, subscribe. You know, it's I've come on board, and please don't let that deter you.
Yeah, come join us and start listening to more. Thanks very much, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.